A huge concern, and it is right now. It looks like it is happening for Ukraine.
It's something else, and we're going to be there as it all goes down. I think at some point, I know you got a helmet. You might want to go get that, Sarah, at some point, and kind of get armored up for that thing, because you got to be really careful in moments like this. I know you're used to it. This is what you do, but it's dangerous stuff. Sarah, thank you so much. We'll be back to you. We're going to bring in now former Trump aide Rick Gates to talk a little bit more about this situation. Rick, good to see you. You know, for the last week or two, I've seen every liberal pundit on Twitter talking about how they're so happy that Biden's in charge, and Biden really knows how to handle this situation. And yet again, we're going to see a lot of people probably going back and deleting a lot of old tweets, I'd estimate.
Yeah, look, Rob, this is really unfortunate the way it's just panned out. I was in Crimea in 2014, or so Ukraine in 2014 when Crimea occurred. I worked in Ukraine for 10 years in their political system. And I remember at that time that a number of the people were very fearful that Putin was going to come in, not only take Crimea, but also other areas. And there was that attempt to take that whole eastern part of Ukraine at that time. He wasn't successful then, but Putin is very deliberate, he's very methodical, and he's certainly very patient. And somebody that's been in power for more than 20 years, in contrast to a U.S. system of governance that has a U.S. president in office for at most 8 years, it weakens the U.S.'s ability to have a strong foreign policy. And unfortunately, now you're seeing the effects of this. This is a long time in the making by Putin. He obviously had the patience to wait, and now he's seeing the fruits of that patience.
Where do you think, I mean, how far do you think they take this thing in the coming days? I mean, there's been speculation this thing stops, you know, or maybe there's, you know, maybe he's testing out, maybe this is distractions, what we're hearing in Kiev, and they only take the Donbass. Do you think that, does this feel to you like a full-fledged invasion of the entire country tonight?
Yeah, it's a great question, because when we used to look at kind of, you know, scenarios in this regard, Putin was never going to go past Kiev. When you talk about the way the country is divided, the West obviously is heavily Ukrainian nationalist. They're going to put up the most resistance. They're going to be the toughest ones to try to bring under Russian control. The eastern part, obviously, their culture, their people, they're very much tied to Russia, the former USSR. So they were in a position to kind of just roll over. And that's exactly kind of what you're seeing, which is why Putin is coming from the north and the east, and then even the south with, you know, coming up through Crimea and Mariupol. But based on what we're seeing right now, the number of troops that he's moving in, particularly from the north, that's the most concerning. I think he could go a little further into the west. I don't think he's